Hello, everyone, and welcome to the Preschool All Stars podcast. I'm Bethany Johnson, and I'm joined today by Michele Munroe. How are you doing today, Michele?
Good. How are you?
Doing fantastic. I can't wait to hear what you got going on. Can you give me a little backstory first about where you're coming from and what you were doing before you decided to start a preschool?
Of course. I was running an in-home daycare for the past 13 years, which I love. It was my baby, but I was getting very burnt out. I had multiple burnouts that I had to come back from, but I never gave up because this is really what I wanted to do. But I needed to find a way to tweak it so that I wasn't exhausted.
Mhm.
So I had already started coming up with the idea of transitioning from daycare to preschool
Okay.
before I saw Joy's ads. But she kind of gave me the motivation to kind of keep pushing through, and to continue with, my crazy scheme of, the preschool, because I thought, everybody needs full day daycare.
Mhm.
But it's not true. There
How
are
did you
those.
come up with that crazy scheme to change to preschool?
I had dropped Fridays
Okay.
because originally I was a large family childcare. So I was licensed for 10 kids, and I had an assistant. And I felt like I was running out of um, just time to get anything done. I was working, I think, 11-hour days at the time.
Mhm.
So I had hired a second assistant. I had one in the morning, one in the afternoon, but just still felt like I just didn't have, I went into this so that I could spend time with my kids,
Right.
and still felt like I had no time with my own children at all. So I ended up uh, opening up a second location, and taking on more of a director role. And I thought, oh, this will make it work. I'll have time to go do my kids' activities at school and, just be there when I need to be there.
Haha. Joke's on
Yeah,
you.
no, yeah, it didn't work out that way. Unfortunately, I had teachers who would call out constantly or, work for a month or two and then quit. So it was even more stressful because now I'd be getting, text messages at 3 a.m. saying, I'm not
Yeah.
coming into work tomorrow. And then now I've got to figure out how I'm going to get my kids up, get them, to the other daycare and then to school while I'm still covering somebody's shift.
I find
So
it funny that you're like, I need more time. I didn't have enough time. So I opened another daycare and hired people and
yeah, no, you think that you're, in a way you're taking on more responsibility, but you're thinking you're, delegating. So you're
right,
you're not
right.
covering it all. And it doesn't always
Yeah,
work out that way.
totally. How did you open the other space? Where did you open your other space?
So we owned a house,
Okay.
and my parents were moving, doing the snowbird thing. So they were moving down to South Carolina. So instead of them selling, I did a business proposal to my dad and said, would you consider renting that house to me so that we could do a house in each location? And I had a license under my name and then a license under my husband's name.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, so which it would have been great if it had
Yeah, yeah,
worked
that's a good
out the way
idea.
it's
So
supposed to.
you had two home cares.
Right.
Okay. Okay, so you were like, "Oh no, this plan didn't work," and you were even more stressed than before because now you have a whole bunch of employees and classes that can't be covered instead of just
Right.
the one in your house. And you have another location that you have to work to, and you're not working out of your house anymore.
Right. Exactly.
Okay.
So at that point, we decided to sell our house that we were currently in because it was too small for us. And I told my dad, we're going to look for another house. We're going to look for one house. We ended up buying Ray's Ranch so that the whole bottom floor was just daycare, and upstairs was our living space. Because at that time, when I started, I only had my daughter. By that point, I had two kids, and just we were running out of space for two children, plus me and my husband, plus 10 kids in a daycare. There wasn't enough
Yeah.
space. But I wanted to go back to one location and just, me and an assistant so that I didn't have to worry about people calling out so much.
Yeah.
And that's what we did about 5 years ago. And then 2020, my full-time assistant retired, which she was planning on retiring anyway. She just ended up leaving a month early because COVID hit and we had to close anyway. So we were in the process at that point of downsizing to 6 kids. And at that point I said, I'm not going to take infants anymore because it was just too much to do a mixed age group by myself.
Yeah.
I mean, I know I could do it. It was stressing me out and I didn't want to get stressed out.
Yeah.
So that was the plan. And then 2020 fully hit and we were closed down completely. And my husband broke his leg and was out of work for 6 months at the same time that daycares were closed.
Oh no.
So at that point, I was forced to go and get another job. So I went back to working at a group home for kids that are in state custody and realized a month or 2 into it that I left this job for a reason. I don't want to work for somebody else.
Yeah.
I
Yeah.
really enjoy being my own boss. I just need to find a way where I'm not so stressed all the time and I don't have so much on my plate.
Yeah.
And that's where the half-day preschool thought came into play. Is, you know, I enjoyed, as much as I love babies, they take up too much time when you're trying to also do a preschool curriculum.
Yeah.
So I felt like, you know, I couldn't give my full attention to everybody. Either, you know, the babies weren't getting enough attention or the preschoolers weren't getting the curriculum. So I kind of had to make a choice and I love to do the curriculum. So that's where, you know, I figured I'm getting more into developing the curriculum and wanting to not having the time to actually do the curriculum with the kids because I didn't have the time to plan it. I didn't have the time to prep it.
Yeah.
So that's where the half days came in. And I had started marketing for that a few months before I found Joy's program. And then from there on out, it's just been kind of ramping back up,
Awesome.
getting back into the marketing and we're full for the fall. We have, I do have a few kids that are staying with me full days, but half of the kids that are joining in the fall are half day kids. And then the following year, I think at that point, we'll completely switch over to half days.
Awesome. So how has the transition been and have you fully made the transition yet or you're making the transition in the fall?
September, we will be welcoming I had started this past year, but I only had one child. So this coming fall will be the first year that I've marketed for only half days.
Okay.
So, you know, and I added Fridays back in so that it'll give me kind of an idea of actually how the half days are going to go, because Monday through Thursday, I'll lose half my kids at 12 o'clock, but then I still have a handful of kids from 12 to 4:30. So I figured if I add the Fridays back in for this year, it'll give me kind of a trial run to see exactly how the half days will flow when everybody's leaving at, 12 o'clock.
Okay. So Fridays will be strictly half days even this year.
Right. Yep.
Okay. So tell me about the transition. How did you tell your parents that you already have? How did that go?
It's been a slow transition.
Okay.
I've kind of been, because a lot of these, I have one family that's been with me for the past 5 years since we moved to this location. And then they had a second child. So that second child is only 2. I could potentially have her for another 3 years. So I kind of have been for the past couple of years giving, slowly, oh, we're not going to be taking infants anymore. And of course, when I said that, I had 2 moms come to me and say, oh, I'm pregnant.
Yeah.
So those 2 children were my last babies. I said, okay, well, this is going to be it. I'm cutting it off at this point. No more kids, no more babies after this.
Yeah.
And then they knew that I was going to be dropping the Fridays once my assistant retired, because I needed that day to be able to make appointments and that kind of stuff. So this was the first year where I said, hey, look, I said, you're welcome to stay. I'll stay open till 4:30 for you, but I'm taking off all school vacation weeks and I'm taking a 2-week vacation in the summer. If that's something you could do, if you can, get here by this time and you can find coverage for those weeks, you're more than welcome to stay for this coming year. And then, we'll reevaluate at that point. So that's where we've been. So they've had plenty of time to digest the information.
Yeah.
But of course, it's always a little nerve wracking to say, hey,
Mhm.
changes are coming.
Yeah. Yeah. But gotta get used to it. You gotta advocate for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. Yep.
Yeah. Okay. So what will your new schedule look like? How many hours a day will the classes be? Are they
For this coming year, it's 9 a.m. to 12 p.m. Monday through Thursday, and then 9 to 11:30 on the Fridays.
okay?
Because I couldn't do an afternoon class this coming year because I still have those few half-day kids
Mhm.
who need the nap in between. I didn't want to mess with that.
Mm.
But I'm hoping the following year I'll be able to do a morning class and an afternoon class. So the Fridays I only did till 11:30, thinking that, from 11:30 to 12 the following year will be my lunch break. And then we'll start at 12 to 2:30 the following year for afternoon classes.
Okay. Awesome. And how did you change your marketing? You said you got new kids coming in, right? For fall.
Yep. Yep.
How did you change your
Um,
marketing? What was your strategy there?
I was posting in a lot of Facebook groups, which of course you've got to be careful for some places they just don't want
Yeah.
that marketing stuff in there. But it can only go so far, and you can only tag so many people in posts without people being like, all right, what are you doing now?
Yeah. Yeah.
But I had, right before I saw Joy's ads, I had learned about Canva. And I had seen the founding family script and I didn't know what it was, but I thought, wow, that looks kind of cool. Let me see if I can figure out, can recreate this ad. And
Mhm.
I did. And I got good feedback from that. I think I got a couple kids from my fake founding family script. And then when I, finally found out what that was all about, got into the program, did the 7-day challenge, I redid that again and got more feedback again. So, it was insightful to know, all the Joy's information about Facebook algorithms and, how people see things, how they pop up on Facebook. Cause I didn't have any clue about that kind of stuff. It was just, put it out there and fingers crossed, hopefully, you get some bites from it.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. Yeah, it is crazy the algorithm and how it works. And I still don't really completely understand it, but going through
it
the
works.
challenge, I was like, oh, this is how people get views and all that. Cause I never really cared about getting views, like that was
Yeah.
never like on Facebook. I just used it for personal stuff and even my business stuff, like, getting views is, I don't, that's never been a thing. But then for the founding family script, it's all about getting the views.
Right. You know?
Yeah. Okay, cool. So how has your day and situation already changed? Are you already starting to experience the Zen that you were hoping for?
Not quite, because
Okay.
now I'm all geared up again.
Mhm.
And I've decided to try out a side business. Not really online. I'm not marketing it as online preschool. I'm marketing it more as a subscription activity box
Oh, okay.
with online videos that go along with it.
Ah,
So that's what I'm working on with my website and my hub and all that kind of stuff, trying to tweak it so that it all works for that. But I've also considered expanding that a little bit and marketing it to daycare providers with extra crafts and activities already prepped, already, everything's in there so that you're not, in the situation where I was, where I had all these great ideas that I wanted to do with the kids and I just didn't have the time.
right.
The time to print stuff, the time to cut stuff, the time to gather the materials, or I would do all that and then realize, oh, I didn't get the googly eyes or I didn't get this. So I'm hoping that this will be, a curriculum that's not super expensive, but everything's prepped for you. Everything's, ready to go in there. I had asked in a local Facebook group of daycare providers if anybody was interested in something like that. And I got about 35 yeses.
Oh,
So
nice.
that's what I'm now trying to kind of, fall enrollment for preschool is full at the moment. So now I'm trying to switch my gears a little bit and focus on the curriculum, trying to get that up and running so that I can present it over the summer and hopefully get some bites for the fall.
Awesome.
Eventually I'll get some relaxation somewhere.
You're such an all-star. Every time we reach one goal, then we just like
Yep,
come up with a new idea and we're like,
yep,
okay, well now I'm onto this. So I haven't
yep,
relaxed yet.
but I will.
Well, that sounds like a cool idea then. So would you make like story time videos that,
Yeah.
so you pick, maybe you're picking a theme and then you're having like crafts and stuff and then your video
Yep.
will go with that?
Yeah, each box is based on a children's book. So I did a sample box on the Grouchy Ladybug, and I put in, I think it was 2 crafts and a couple of games, and a sensory activity. And, I gave those away for free to 11 people, I think. And I'm still waiting on the feedback from those, but, hoping for some good feedback from those, ways to tweak it or make it better, or, activities that worked, that didn't work. And then some reviews to put on my website, and we're going to go from there. So
Awesome. That sounds like a really great idea and a really great way to bring in extra money. How much are you going to charge for that?
I'm still working on that.
Okay.
Because that's the hard part, is making sure that I'm not going over budget.
Yeah.
Because 50 cents here, $1 here,
Yeah.
it adds up when you start, putting it all together. Oh, I've already gone over my budget. I'm not going to make a profit. So I'm
Yeah.
trying to figure out ways to make sure there's enough activities in there to keep to make it worthwhile, but at the same time, not so much that I'm pricing myself out of making a profit.
And don't forget your time too. If you're cutting everything, that
Right.
that
Yep.
takes a lot of time. What if you charge like by student? If you're making, because you're gonna
Yeah.
have to make more if there's a lot of students.
Right.
So it makes
I'm
sense.
thinking of doing like a base price for a regular box for, whoever, and then so many dollars extra per child for if I'm marketing it to daycares. So I just got to see what
Okay,
makes
so you're
sense.
gonna market it to parents and it would just be like one set and
Like
then
an
also
activity
market it
box.
to
Yep.
okay, yeah,
Right.
perfect. Well, that's exciting. And what's that business called?
I have named it We Wise Ones Story Kits.
We Wise Ones. I love
Yes,
it. Is that the name of your
my
preschool?
Yep.
I
We
love
Wise
that
Ones
name.
Preschool.
It's super cute. Wow. And what do you charge? What are you charging for your half day preschool?
This current coming year, I'm charging $30 a day, and we'll probably increase the following year.
Okay. Are you going to make it a daily thing or a monthly or a weekly?
We're doing a monthly tuition, so 2 days a week ends up coming out to, I think it was $240 a month. 3 days a week is $360 a month, and then 4 days a week would be $480. Never even calculate for 5 days because originally that wasn't a plan, but
yeah.
So
cool. Awesome. And are you going to have like a Tuesday, Thursday, or Monday, Wednesday, Friday, or are you going to give them options to pick whatever days?
we have a Monday, Wednesday class, a Tuesday, Thursday class, and then Fridays can either be on their own or they can be added to the Monday, Wednesday, or Tuesday, Thursday class.
Oh, okay, cool. Awesome. Wow. So you got a lot going on.
I do.
Is this your space? It looks super cute. Did you find the perfect house that works for your
Yes, I did.
when you move? So the whole downstairs is your preschool?
Yes. Do you want me to scan?
Oh, sure, if you can. I mean, I'm nosy. I like to see. I just like to see it all.
All right, let me see if I can. Oh, I don't. I'll have to turn you. I don't think I can. I can scan. But this was my dramatic play area. It's a farmers market at the moment.
Super cute.
And then this is our art area.
Nice.
And
you got a lot of space.
Yeah, I mean, it's the whole first floor of my house. So that's the science area. Quick scan.
Nice. Love it. Love it.
There you go. That's about it.
Wow, that's great. No, that's awesome. Oh, we never do little tours. I should make everyone show me their space.
There you go.
Awesome. Well, what do you hope to, like, in 5 years for both of your businesses? What would be your dream scenario for them and for your just life in general, your stress level and where you would want to be?
I'm hoping obviously they're both successful with a good reputation and a wait list for the preschool. But just I'll have everything established and hopefully not have to put so much effort into the startup like I am now, and it'll just be kind of like a well-oiled machine where it just kind of flows, and have enough income to be comfortable, put away for retirement, and enjoy the time I have left with my kids and my husband, take time for vacations, all that stuff that we've kind of been putting off because you're constantly in hustle mode, constantly in trying to get accomplished and get where you need to be before you can take that relaxing breath. And
yeah. You don't need to be at a certain place to be able to take a break for yourself.
Yeah, that's true. But you got to remind yourself.
In fact, you got to take a break for yourself in order to keep continuing the hustle to get to that certain place that you're always striving for.
So you don't get so burnt out.
Yeah, exactly. And would you, if the subscription box kind of takes off and you have that, would you hire a teacher at all? So, or maybe for some days, so you could have some days off to yourself?
Possibly. But I kind of like going back to, I realized how much I missed the teaching when I was doing the director thing. I missed that connection with the kids, that connection with the families.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I really have to think about whether or not I'd want to hand that off again to somebody else. Or if I just want to make it, keep it the family feeling,
The teaching part is the best part of owning the business. All the business part is the stuff that's not as fun. Definitely.
Right.
Well, maybe you could hire someone to get all your subscription boxes ready, because I can imagine that's going to be a lot of work if you got a lot.
That's time consuming. Already my husband's looking around the house going, do you have a space for all this stuff?
Yeah.
It's kind of everywhere.
Yep. Oh, that sounds like my
Get
husband.
organized.
Yeah. How old are your kids?
My son is 10 and my daughter's turning 16.
Oh, you can recruit them. There you go. Just pay them to do some cutting, get their fingers moving. Well, this all sounds really, really exciting. How has being part of the Preschool All-Stars helped you along this journey and figure out what you really want to do?
It's kept me motivated, for one, but given me, what's the word? It's kind of validating my thoughts that no, this isn't really a crazy idea. People will accept this, and to keep me going with it, as well as the tech stuff. The tech stuff scares me. The website,
me too.
All that kind of stuff. So to have that, to know that I can step into this, and if I get stuck, I have somebody who's going to help me through it. I'm not going to have to wait for my kids to come home from school to figure out what to do next, because I can get help from somebody else. Because other than that, I probably wouldn't have tried to start a subscription box business if I didn't know the tech stuff, or I didn't feel like I had the support, because you need it.
Yeah, absolutely. It's funny, since I've been working with Canva and doing, the hub and getting more, I'm figuring stuff out on my own instead of just like getting frustrated and asking my husband, who I did consider the tech guy. And I'm starting to realize, like, he just Googles stuff. Like, he just Googles it he doesn't actually know. And I'm like, but I can Google it.
Yep. More.
So I've just been getting more confidence in myself, and then I do it and I realize, like, and then I feel good about myself, and it just feels good to like have the confidence in myself to figure out my own tech issues instead of go right to him and then get frustrated that he doesn't know and he's just Googling, So what piece of advice would you have for anyone else who's maybe burnout in a daycare, or thinking about, I don't know, even some sort of subscription or thing like that to make extra income? What would you say to them to give them some encouragement?
I would say to think outside the box, and don't just throw ideas away because you think that there's no value to them, because there might be, and there's no harm in trying. What's the worst that's going to happen? It's, you might have an idea and it might not take off, but you won't know that until you try. And what if it does? What if, this is what you were searching for? This is what, your path in life was preparing you for. There's no, you're never going to know if you don't take that shot. Give it a try.
Totally. That's true. This could be what your whole life is leading up to.
Yeah, you never know.
So true. It's so true, though. Awesome. Well, thank you so much for telling your story, Michele. And I wish you all the best of luck. I can't wait to hear where you're at next year. We could do a little check-in, and you can tell me that Your entire house is filled up with subscription boxes and you had to buy a new house just to fill
Yeah,
that business.
Just because we needed the space.
Yeah. Yes. I wish you all the best of luck in this and can't wait to follow your journey.
Oh, thanks, Bethany. It was
Thanks
good
for talking to
you.
me. You too. You have a great day. Thank you.
You too.
If you'd like to have a success story just like that one, I invite you to join our Preschool All-Stars. It's my exclusive membership community where you'll get mentorship from me with weekly Q&A lives, support and guidance and friendship from hundreds of women on the exact same journey as you, starting, running, and growing their preschools, and my exclusive access to Preschool University, every training and done-for-you file that you'll need for every milestone on your journey to help you start, run, and grow your preschool. We've all been there, and we've got the exact same steps that you need to go through, but we do it all very quickly so that you don't have to waste time or money doing the wrong things at the wrong time. We'd love for you to join our Preschool All-Stars membership. Just go to preschoolallstars.com or click the link in the description to immediately jump into Preschool All-Stars. Again, go to preschoolallstars.com and we'll see you there.